Welcome to the Family History Buff channel. On today's video, I will show you how to add a spouse or a child in your family tree on Familysearch and right in your own home. Hello, this is Murray Dalton, your Family History Buff. This is our 5th video, and now that you're connected to Familysearch, I'm going to show you how to add a missing spouse or child in your family tree in Familysearch. Hopefully you had a chance to view our first 5 videos about Familysearch. These videos will really help familiarize you with Familysearch and how to connect to Familysearch. Now let me show you how to add a spouse or a child on Family Tree in Familysearch. To begin with, go to Familysearch's website, familysearch.org, to log into your Familysearch account. Let's go there now. Go ahead and click Sign In. Once you have successfully entered Familysearch, click on the Family Tree icon on the top left of your screen, right up here. And on the drop-down options, click on Tree. Once entered, now make sure you are in the landscape mode. It's listed right up here on this drop-down arrow. Has landscape, portrait, fan chart, or descendancy. Just make sure you're in the landscape mode. You should now see your personal record and a pedigree chart of your ancestors. In this video presentation, I'm going to show you how to add a spouse or a child on your family tree in Familysearch. First, let's find a name of an ancestor or family member where you need to add a spouse. I'm now going to use my 3rd great-grandfather, Benjamin Gardner Curtis, as an example of how to add a spouse to a record. First, click on the name of your ancestor, as shown here. A pop-up screen will appear on your ancestor. Next, click on where it says Person at the bottom of the screen, right down here at the bottom. Once entered, you will now see the personal profile of your ancestor. Okay, next, go over to this bar on the far right, and you want to scroll down, pull the bar down, and you want to scroll down until you see family members right here. In the case of my grandfather, it shows he has a spouse by the name of Maria Dunn. But if for whatever reason, through death, divorce, and married again, or if you have an ancestor's spouse who isn't even listed, and you need to add a new spouse, you would then click on Add Spouse, located just below Family Members. And that is shown right here, where you would add a spouse. Note, Family Tree allows you to build out and populate your family tree in a variety of different ways that you will quickly become more familiar with as you work to fill in information about your family. So go ahead and click on Add Spouse. Next, you will see this pop-up window appear. You will now need to add the name of the spouse to create a new record. Let me show you how to do this. You first will see 2 choices to add a spouse by name or by ID number. Click on Add a Spouse by Name first. This step is only to see if this spouse is already listed in Familysearch. I will cover by ID number in the next step. So let's go ahead and add name. I know her name is Polly Anderson. Now, one thing you always want to do, if it's a female, you want to use their maiden name. Then go ahead and click on Female, since this is a spouse that we're looking for her husband. And we're marking deceased. And I'm going to put an approximate birth date of 1804. And birthplace, I've heard that it was around Colorado. I don't know where in Colorado, but I'm just going to put Colorado. Now, I'm not adding any death date or death place. It doesn't need to be exact dates and places, as we are only searching to see if this spouse is already listed in Familysearch. Once you have this information entered, go ahead and click on Next. Now, there is a possibility that you will have a record that will pop up, and this would be the correct person. If this is the spouse's record, go ahead and click on Add Match, and this spouse is connected. Now, in this case, you might have a message that will say, right here, no matches found. Search was unable to find any possible matches. You may now create this person in Family Tree. In this case, click on Create Person, right here. The spouse's name is now shown in your family tree, which would be, in this case, Polly Anderson. Since this is a fictitious name, I'm not going to create this person, but if that was the case for you, you would want to click on Create Person. Okay. Once you create that person, it is going to show up under the family members profile, and it's going to show as an additional spouse. Now let's cover by ID number. I'm going to click on by ID number. The ID number choice is only used if the spouse is deceased and you know the ID number for this spouse, which is already listed in Familysearch. In this case, if you do know the personal ID number, go ahead and add it now. And you would add that right in this space right here. Once you've added the ID number, you would click on Next, and the spouse record will appear. If this is the correct record, go ahead and click on Add Match, and this spouse is now added to this record on your family tree. Next, I want to show you how to add a child to a family. First, let's find a name of an ancestor or family member where you need to add a child. I'm now going to use my third great-grandfather, Benjamin Curtis, again, as an example of how to add a child to a record. First, click on the name of the ancestor as shown here. A pop-up screen will appear on your ancestor. Next, click on where it says Person at the bottom of the screen. Once entered, you will now see the personal profile of your ancestor. Now let's scroll down the personal profile page until you see Family Members. Grab this little bar on the far right. And here you see Family Members. In the case of my grandfather, it already shows he has 10 children listed. But you have found another child who also needs to be listed on this record. At the bottom of the screen, you have two choices: add a child or add a child with an unknown mother. You would then click on one of these choices. In this case, we're going to add a child, so I'm going to click on Add Child. You will now show a pop-up screen to add a child. Next, you will need to add the name of the child to create a new record. Let me show you how to do this. You first will see two choices: to add a child by name or by ID number. Click on Add a Child by Name. This step is to only see if this child is already listed in Familysearch. I will cover by ID number in the next step. Now let's go ahead and add a name that you're searching for. I'm going to put down Karen Curtis. And we know that it's a female. And I've got deceased. And I put down here 1835 for birthplace. And I'm assuming Colorado because that's where the family was from. And if you know any death date or death place, go ahead and you can put that down. It doesn't need to be exact dates and places, as we are just searching to see if this child is already listed in Familysearch at this time. Then go ahead and click on Next. If a record appears showing the name of Karen Curtis, and you think this is that person, go ahead and click on Add Match. And this child will be connected as one of the children of this family. Now you might have a message that will say, in this case, no matches found. Search was unable to find any possible matches. You may now create this person in Family Tree. In this case, you would click on Create Person. The child's name is now shown on your Family Tree. In this case, I put a fictitious name, so I'm not going to create this person. And their name would be shown right down here. In this case, where you had 10 children, it would now show this person as having 11 children. Now let's cover by ID number. Click on ID number. The ID number is only used if the child is deceased and you know the ID number for this child who is already listed in Familysearch. In this case, if you do know the personal ID number, go ahead and add it now. You would add it right here. Then you would go ahead and click on Next, and the child's record will appear. If this is the correct record, go ahead and click on Add Match, and this child is now on this record on your Family Tree. If you enjoyed my presentation, please subscribe to this channel, Family History Buff. I have more videos to view that will go through every aspect of helping you with Familysearch and other ways to find and discover your ancestors. Subscribing is the best way to follow me. Now that you're well along into Familysearch, you will want to watch video number 6 entitled How to Add Photos to Your Family Tree on Familysearch. Thank you for watching. See you in video number 6.